Hello. Is anybody there?
Hey,
Yes.
yep.
All right. Hi.
There we
Hello.
go. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi. I am just trying to get connected on my computer because it's at like 1% right now. But I am just getting my stuff set up. I have my presentation and everything ready for you guys. I just want to share it.
Sweet.
See. Mm, 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 mm.
How's everybody's week? Mine good, doing interview prep stuff. So,
Oh yeah? How's
yeah.
that going?
Interesting. I'm prepping for like a systems design portion of the interview. And so I made a big old notebook LM full of all of the systems design resources I could find, and I'm just sort of like consuming the slop that pops out of that, basically. So which has been surprisingly reasonably helpful, or like not surprisingly, because Notebook LM is an amazing piece of software, but has been about as helpful as I thought it would be.
I'm it's been a long time since I've used Notebook LM, to be honest. Like the last time I used it was, I think, maybe a year ago.
Oh,
Has
really?
it improved a lot or like since that?
In my
Since then?
opinion, I don't know. I've kind of
Ooh. Yeah.
always oh well, yeah, my computer might be doing the same thing yours is, where it doesn't have enough battery. Let's see. Um, Yeah, they keep adding. I think the most recent feature add was something related to source citation IDs, something like that. But I think if you've used it since you could do since it would make videos for you,
Yeah.
um, then I think you're probably caught up on all the stuff it's all on all the major capability stuff. At least for me, the deep research report that it starts with is a pretty solid one. And then since it can pull in all the sources and I can just kind of keep going, it's pretty helpful for like doing something like studying for a systems architecture interview, basically. I find the mind maps pretty helpful as well. And obviously flashcards and quizzes are helpful in this kind of situation. But
Oh,
they
sweet. That's like pretty. It's actually really good.
yeah, for especially like specifically for interview prep or for studying in general. I find that like being able to browse along the mind map of a very large amount of sources and then zero in on like the specific thing that you need to know more about is pretty handy. And then I basically how I ran it is I have the big source dump, and then I got a couple of book recommendations from friends and just regenerated mind maps and videos on those books in specifically. I think one of them turnkey way to use space that repetition. I was just wondering the other or like there should be a notebook LMCLI in my opinion, or MCP if you really want to go that direction. But what I would like to have is a way for my agents to hook into all the resources that I have here on Notebook LM. I think that would be pretty sweet. Um, but it's got flashcards, but it doesn't necessarily have like a full Anki setup. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with how Anki works exactly, but
Here's the thing. I am trying to get this presentation working. Um, But apparently, like, it's not letting me share my screen at all.
Let me.
But I posted the presentation inside the chat. So if somebody could do that instead, that would be awesome.
Let's see. Does anybody? Nobody has the host key right now, right? I'm assuming. 'Cause I think
I don't
what we would
think so.
need to do is claim host. Oh no, I
In
can.
order to share,
Usually that's the barrier, but I just clicked share and it worked for me. So, is it what are you getting when you click share?
nothing, literally no reaction. It's probably like maybe it's because I'm in the browser. I don't know.
That could be. You could try closing and reopening or something. I'm not sure if you don't get any kind of pop-up, that's kind of weird.
Zero pop-up.
Hmm. Yeah, I know unless the permissions are um more advanced than default. Um,
Yeah, it's just not working
hmm.
for me.
I
Um,
can follow along,
here's
or I
here's
can
yeah,
share. Yeah, I could share.
yeah, if you could share if it's working for you, can you in the Discord I posted it. If you can share just the slides are there
Yeah, let me see. Oh, it wants to open them in Canva.
in
Let's,
Canva. Okay, Canva's I don't think Canva's the right option.
I don't either.
It's a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I should have I would think that I have like a PowerPoint viewer thing. Shouldn't Mac
And the
come
other thing
be
that
like
sucks
that?
is I was going to demo it. So I guess I could demo on my, let's see if it works. Demoing it on my, dude.
That's so weird.
All right. I mean, you guys can see the screen now, since this is hasn't been working. It's gonna be not as good, but I guess you can see the mobile view. Um, so I guess this is what we're gonna have to see, I guess. Let's see if I do this horizontally. Does that work? Ooh, okay, okay. Horizontally
Okay.
works.
Okay.
This is not the greatest presentation. Sorry guys, but this is uh this is probably what you're gonna get. Okay, like oh cool. I didn't know okay, okay, that works. Let's see the
Magnificent.
cool. Now how do I get to next slide? Okay. Okay, wait, how do no, I want to go back to the previous slide. Dude, is it just not possible? Okay, let's okay, that works. I'll just tap when it's ready. It should okay, cool. You can see this, right? You guys are good? Okay, let's
Yeah.
just start.
We got it.
So yeah, so let me just really short Keating is like a pretty advanced version of I would say Notebook LM or some sort of teaching tool. It's built off of this idea called hyper agents. I've I presented it before, but I was never able to kind of show you guys a demo of what it really looks like. Uh, I've made a ton of changes so far. I basically wanted to show you how adaptive it is, how much it changes. um, the things that I've done so far and how you can use it and install it on your own computer and get started, or just use it from the web. So like let's get started on that. So a lot of uh this isn't as true as it used to be. But ChatGPT, you go and use Gemini, they're mostly stateless. Now, they've added some remembering from different chats features, but it's still pretty basic. If you use something like Hermes or OpenClaw, uh, they've got a lot more statefulness. And if you use anything like Letta, they've also got more stateful understanding of here we go, we've got a person, and they usually edit prompts. Um, I'm sure you guys are familiar with some more memory based additions that have been going on, but it's been a general issue uh, whenever you're using applications, AI applications these days, that it doesn't generally remember what you've been doing in the previous session. So my understanding is what I wanted to do with Keating is to go a level above what Hermes does and what memory agents do, and actually make sure that the entire agent adapts itself to you. How does that work? We'll go into it later, but in short, it modifies a lot of it can modify its own code. It can modify prompts, of course. It can run benchmarks and evaluations on itself. That's in the short how I think we go a step above the statefulness in other models and other harnesses. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of talked about a slide before this, but it remembers your interactions. It starts modifying. It has its own policy. Basically, we can think of a set of weights for the model, and then there's like a smaller set of fast weights that it changes to change the teaching policy that it has. The expectation that some lesson it gives you is likely to stick or to help you learn, or that it's diverse enough to pull you in the direction that you need to go. I have an entire set of feedback primitives that the model can use to regenerate and benchmark itself. And yeah, no two learners are the same. It like changes for everybody who's using it. Let's go for the next slide here. Yeah, so this is just what it looks like. This is like the front page. If you go to Keating.help yourself, right? If you were like to go to the page, you'd also see the same thing. Uh, it's a pretty simple domain. It's just like KEATING.help. You probably saw it in the Discord. When you start, it's gonna give you like this loading stuff, and then you'll head into the chat. Um, the chat is pretty basic. You kind of expected what the chat does. In the top left corner, there are some icons that you might not be aware of. For example, if you let me actually head and just I think we can just go straight to demo here. See if my thing works. I got let's go to room. Just doing some work here. There we go. See if I have my I want to leak my API key to be honest, but I don't think I added my API key here. Let's try Minimax.
Currently, we are still seeing the slides and presentation, if that's what we're supposed to be
You
seeing.
are?
We are, yes.
Okay. Let's see. Does that work? Yeah?
That works. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So this is what it looks on mobile. If you go over here and you go to try keying, you've got a bunch of ways that you can go and start conversations. And click on more, you can figure out what sort of more stuff to do. You can choose models, right? Of course. And on the top, you can create new sessions. You can also fork sessions, which is like kind of not totally new, but it's similar to how if you've ever done ChatGPT images, you can also fork sessions. Um, Currently how it works is you need an API key. Um, and there's also an artifact browser, so you can like I don't know why it doesn't say loading on my actual screen, so it's weird that it says loading on the Zoom. So anyway, the artifact browser basically shows you different things that artifacts the LLMs created to help you learn. That can be like curriculums, that can be learning plans. All of that ends up in here. I'll show that later once I get an API key. I'll do that off camera because I don't want to leak my API key, obviously. But you can also share sessions. Like if you click on the share button, you can like share stuff. So that lets other people see basically what you've done. There's also usage stats. Like you can check out different ways that you've used it and check what your usage looks like. I even have like a GitHub style daily active. Like let's see like how much have you actually used it. Um there's also a way to export something really cool is like you can actually export the data so that you can fine tune a model. I have that working right now. I don't know why, but this is like an old version of the chat. I think it's because it's cached in memory. Oh yeah, you can also change the theme too, of course, if you want that. The settings are incredibly extensive. Like I made it so that the settings are really, really extensive. So you can you can use your own custom provider, right? You can go and add a provider. Um, right? Llama CPP, LLM. It all works for all of those different providers. If there are problems, just like tell me. Um, you can also choose different types of animation renders. So there's man and web and there's hyperframe, for example. Um, if you know about the different animation stuff, you can choose that. You can try it out. You can upload a profile image. All this is in IndexedDB right here, so it doesn't actually go to the server. The only thing that there's a server for is for sharing different chats. I couldn't do that exactly locally. Like the best way that I could do locally is actually store the entire chat as like a URL, like a query URL that's like kind of impractical, right? Obviously, because that gets really big. So instead, what I did, is I just had the sharing in on the server. But other than that, this like entire thing is running completely in your browser. It's running on your own device. Yeah, there's Google grounding. So like if you need web search, you can do it there. Um, open like all the different options are here. There's tons of interface options. There's speech that you can add as well. If you have a Gemini API key, you can add speech. There's a bunch of different model options. Um, I've tested the I've tested Gemini TTS. It works. For the other speech options, I haven't tested them. So there's probably bugs there. If there are, like just tell me. But I don't think it should work any different with those other APIs. But there's always interesting problems. Like I had problems with Minimax for some reason because the proxy was wrong. Um, like yeah. So you can choose different proxy URLs as well. It's kind of cool. There's like a lot of customizability and options it like with Keating, and this is just in the version of Keating that runs in the browser. If you want to run it on your own machine, or you feel like, hey, I prefer like 2E stuff, the entire thing is by package, right? So you can basically just add the extension to your own version of Pi that's running, or you can just download and install it on your own. Let me see if I can go back to the presentation. That was like the quick demo. I'll finish the presentation and we'll come back and like actually ask somebody to use it. Let's see.
Yeah, we got a question in chat that wants to see the Socratic teaching part of the app, but we can do that during the demo session. Wasn't sure if you
Yeah, the demo. Yeah, the demo. Because I need to get my API key there. It's not there right now.
got it.
Um, so let me go back to the. Where's the presentation that I had set up? Let's just open this up again. Let's present on. I think present on this device. Why does it? Why isn't not?
I've also got the slides in Google Drive, which I could, or I got them into Google Slides, so I can share if you want to, if you need some help.
Yeah, because right now it's like weird right now.
It do be weird. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Let's.
You want me to share? Or you want to keep trying to?
Oh, oh, oh. I think it. I think I got it.
I think you got it. Yeah.
Okay. So we got past the what the web chat looks like. When you install, which is just npm install -g heating, or you can also uninstall whatever, probably pnpm install whatever. Like you got it. You get it. There's also an agent at the bottom. You can just click that and send it into your agent for however you want to install it. But basically, you just install it from npm. It's an npm package. You can install it there. That way, you can curl from the install package on GitHub. You can git clone, obviously, and build it from source. There's a bunch of different ways that I give you an option to get it on computer. So, yeah. Um, but it's also a TUI. Uh, what else? Oh yeah, this is the learning activity thing that I showed. If you see at the bottom, near the side there, there's an export fine tuning data. So if you're into like modifying your models and stuff on your own and you want to train them, yeah, that's a way you could do that. Um, yeah. So how did I build this? That's kind of like another thinking. Like, how did I actually build this shit? So I use a whole bunch of series of tools actually to build this. Uh, when it comes to the agents that I used a few different agents from Crush to my own personal agent called Chrysalis, and I also used Codex a lot. Claude I didn't really use too much to build this. It was mostly just Crush and Codex. And OpenCode, I had it as like a thing that I used it once in a while, but really I barely used OpenCode. There's also some other cool things in here. Like you can combine VHS tapes, which are like terminal ways to record your terminal with Remotion, and then you can like get videos of you can get programmatically generated videos of your terminal along with something like the web. Um, and that gives you kind of cool possibilities to talk about what you can do on your computer through a video, and you can like prompt a model to like generate these videos. I made an example that I posted that in the server, but um, like if you're interested in getting a copy, I can send that to you as well. It's also in the repo too, I'm pretty sure. So you can just look at it that through that there. Oxtra and Typist. So there's a paper. There's like keying that help slash paper, and that's where I used Typist along with a tool called Oxtra to get a uh generated view of what the architecture for the uh for keying. I use property based testing a lot uh via fast check to make sure like things actually work as they're advertised. I also use similarity to decrease the amount of code and like kind of tighten the slop. And then Striker for mutation testing. Just the task runner for like getting things and just remembering commands across all my freaking projects. It's Mies and Just have been kind of a lifesaver there. And Phlox is to make sure that I can like reproduce it on different computers. So like I can just come Phlox activate and just get a good dev environment going. Mies can also be used for this. I've just been moving to Phlox because it has stronger reproducibility guarantees than Mies does. And then I use Bun too. So and that's basically the different tools that I used. If anybody has questions about that, yeah. Okay. Somebody said, so suppose I want to learn Hungarian and I speak Danish. Um, I mean, yeah, it should be able to, as long as the model knows Hungarian, then you should also be able to use it to learn different languages. I haven't tried it with language learning. Um, I think it would be better if you get full duplex working really well. That language learning would be a lot better at that, but it should be able to work. Um, let's go next. Yeah, so I'm gonna go a little bit into the architecture, but I'm not gonna go too much into it right now because I know you guys want to actually see it work. Uh, let's see. I can't zoom in here, can I? Basically, you've got the Pi shell. I adapted it from Feynman. Feynman.is. It's kind of cool. It's kind of a tool that that's a modified version of Pi that lets you run LM experiments really quickly in runway and stuff. If you've ever heard of auto harness or things that Carpathia has made with automated research and stuff, auto research, sorry. It's kind of like that, but if somebody modified a Pi 2A for it, I kind of took that as like a jumping point to make heating. And yeah, of course, we've got other things like the lesson plan, a map of what the learner needs to understand, as well as the different policies are that should be used, an entire animation library, and a verifier to like figure out if what was being taught was correct or not, and also if the learner also verifiably understands what has been taught, so that you can't just like skip past it and stuff, which is like a huge problem with current models. If you go and you try to learn from ChatGPT, there's like, I understand now, and it doesn't do any really proper confirmation to make sure that you actually understand what is being said. So like this quizzes you and does all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah, I talked a bit of this, but you can again, like you can export traces for fine tuning if you're kind of nerdy like that and done that. Yeah, please try it for anybody that is into that. Please do that. I would really like to see what your experiments look like. You can share sessions to mention this. You can also, after you share it, you can like continue what the session was. There's no privacy stuff on this, so if you share a session Like anybody with that link can get the shared session. Just like keep that in mind. Um, yeah, I think I talked about all this stuff. Yeah, go read the paper if you want to get if you're like really into it. Um, I tested this with a bunch of synthetic learners, which are basically just other models, like smaller, dumber models with this model to see how it would perform and change. It was a much earlier version of Keating, so not really the current version. Literally, I did this beginning of last month, I think. Um, Had some really interesting results. I would go read it if you want to learn about that. Yeah, this is the page where you can go check out that paper. And that's pretty much it. I will get the demo working now. But yeah, I mean, any questions so far while I do that?
Have you experimented with the model training stuff? Like, have you trained a model? If so, what kind of model comes out of getting fine-tuned by a Keating, basically?
I haven't yet. I literally just put in that functionality. Why is my why am I sideways? I just put in that functionality actually. So I'm going to be trying that soon, and experimenting with how that looks like. But yeah, I mean that's I kind of want I added in because I wanted to try and see what that would look like if I added the traces into Keating into like a small model and see where I could go with that and what it looks like if a model was trained to be a teacher from scratch or with traces from other models.
What shouldn't you want to learn with Keating at the moment? Like, what is it bad at? What is it missing still?
I think it's missing full duplex interactive stuff or like physical stuff. Like if you want to do video like let's say like you're doing a physical task like I want to learn how to get better at golfing, for example. Like this is not going to be a great system to learn how to do better at that because unless you have images that you can drop into it of your different strokes, it's not going to be great at figuring out what's going on. I
Yeah, yeah.
want to get it,
You
huh?
need to use something that Meta has, some model that can basically capture your pose and then see if you like the animation of your movement matches up with what you know is good. And that's also another
Yeah,
data set issue.
exactly. Like that would be that's a direction I want to move Keating towards eventually. There was a Tinker recently Thinking Machines released a pretty interesting interaction model that's what they called it with pretty low latency and really great instruction following. Um this is something that if they didn't release it publicly, which it frustrates me incredibly. But if I could get my hands on something like that, along with what you mentioned, like pose estimation, and maybe like hook it up in VR, like I do think you could do a lot of physical learning stuff, but that's like I think that's the biggest gap right now in what it doesn't do. It only does things that also it's not great at like I talked about this before, like if you're learning a language and you're doing a lot of speech, that's also an issue. So like it technically works like TTS, but it's not real time right now. There are real time options that I've added in, but I haven't tested them extensively yet. That's like still really beta-ish. I would say alpha level, really. Like I barely tested it. I have it in there. It may or may not work kind of thing. It's not like something that I have focused on as of yet. I want to move to focusing on it because I think it's really key to helping you learn a bunch of different topics if you do
Yeah,
real
by the way,
time.
You also over anything about the like references sourcing. Well, it's a teaching tool. So basically, any teacher would say to you, okay, it's teaching this, but where is it getting it from?
Right. So I have options for grounding with Google search. You can input documents for it to reference specifically.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend for learners to do for doing grounded stuff. Um,
I was basically expecting you to perhaps you mean good old Wikipedia can also still be used or Grokpedia if you like, and then use the sources from those for like very common topics. That's
oh yeah, yeah. You could do that
you
as
got the
well.
references index there.
Yeah, that's also like a possible area that I want to improve on is improving the verifier decreasing like hallucination stuff and problems. The other thing is that like there's like grounded facts, and also there's there's also like the idea that Keating is supposed to push you to actually do work in understanding something. So w- what it often does, if it doesn't know, is ask you to go research it and give you the source, which I actually think is not is actually good from a learning perspective. But I do want to improve like grounded truth of the model. It's difficult, of course, and part of improving that is going to be the fine tuning stuff, right? Because ideally, like you export the traces, you get the groundedness of it. Oh, I might have my computer died, whatever. You get the grounded traces of it, and you help improve models specifically just for teaching. But yeah, yeah. Let's see
So
if I can
you
get this.
mentioned this basically. So for example, you have a model, not a big one, but it's for a chemistry teacher, high school chemistry, and you can fine tune it basically purely on that. So you have like a dedicated model per topic. Like I'm not
You could
expecting,
do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
could do that.
expecting you to be able to fine tune like massive models, of course, given the cost.
I think the important part is actually that assistants like to just say that you've done something. So there's grounding is one aspect of doing fine tuning stuff. But there's like other aspects that are I would argue are more important to a teaching model, and it's not just like is the teacher verifying that like the facts that it has are correct. It's does the teacher steer you in a direction for you to actually understand something. Models have incredible amounts of knowledge already. Like it, they have incredible amounts of knowledge, period, right? Um, just in the base, even for a pretty small model, but like certainly Frontier has insane levels of knowledge. So the the thing that I think is more important at this aspect is actually not just knowledge grounding, but uh directing and figuring out if somebody has actually learned something or not. That's a lot more difficult to actually do. If you go and use regular chat GPT and you try to use it to learn something, or if you go and use notebook LM, like they're pretty good, but a lot of the times they don't actually verify very well in your own words, like has this actually worked. They don't quiz you quite as well as I think they could. They're really soft in how they get things because they're more focused on being an assistant, and teach teachers aren't just meant to assist you, they're meant to push you, force you to do things that you might not like to do, and that's just kind of not on the path of where a lot of models are. So it's that sense of steering that I want to focus on more than grounding, right? Because sure, you could have you can have ChatGPT have perfect grounding and tell you the exact fact, but if it just lets you go ahead and say, "Oh yeah, I get this now," when there's no evidence that you actually do understand what you're talking about, it's not a very good teacher, is
Um,
it?
is that something you need to fine tune on, or is it basically? I mean, it sounds to me like something you want to do in the harness itself. I
It's something
mean,
that I'm already doing in the harness itself, but there
so
are
that's like a
limits to what
state.
you can
It's
there's limits
basically
to what you can do with the harness itself. That's
like
basically what I'm saying.
if if you have like a description of the knowledge you're supposed to teach, then you can use that as a state with the user interaction. Basically, state like, okay, are these topics, is this concept grokked? Yes or no? The hardest part is, of course, like to create a valid test for it. Like if it's like learning facts is of course easy. You can just do something similar to Anki. But if it's like teaching somebody calculus, it gets a little bit more tricky. It's also doable.
Calculus might be easier because it's easier to verify if like if you can give strict tests. One of the hardest things that I've found that people have used Keating for is totally open-ended stuff. Like um for example, somebody posted I don't know if you know Ayla or whatever on Twitter. Somebody posted one of Ayla's posts and like asked if like this made sense or something, like a moral question that was on Twitter. They posted that into Keating. They told me about this. This is one of my friends that have used it before. But anyway, I don't have a way to spy on your message or chats, by the way. I the only way I know what's going on with this site, I don't even have post hog tracking on it. I don't even know how many people are using it. I got like I think 200 downloads on npm or something. I have no idea who's using it. But anyway, somebody was using it for like moral questioning,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like describing to me like how it was working. It was really interesting how it was working. But
What was the
that's an
question?
area that's not really verifiable at all, other than is this person being pushed to consider perspectives outside their own, and how are they dealing with that, and how are they answering those questions, like philosophical moral questions, moral dilemmas. I also want Keating to be able to do things like that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I think that's important for teachers as well.
This wasn't red button, blue button, right?
No, it wasn't red button, blue button, but
No,
that's
that's cool.
but red button, blue buttons is one of the questions that somebody did ask Keating to consider. And Keating didn't consider it. Keating forced you to consider it. Um, so that was kind of like the whole thing. Like it didn't really give you the answers for what was the right idea or what you should have done, kind of thing. It was mostly just here's like different ways that you could think about this, and what do you think of these different options? Like consider them. Why do you think X would work? Why do you think Y wouldn't work, etc. Like justify your reasons, kind of thing. So reason justification is, I think, much harder to do than pure fact grounding, and I think more important and expressive, in my opinion. I think those are harder to do, also more important to do, and things that models right now don't quite do well or could be improved. All right, let's see if I can do that demo now. Wait, people asking questions in chat? Other questions in chat? No?
I think the
Okay,
last
cool.
one was last one was Hungarian to Danish.
Yeah, I think I answered that one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
answered
did.
that one.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this.
Oh, I think we lost our friend Dio here. Maybe, I don't know, somebody's phone died or their computer died. You can give him, there he is. Okay, we back.
For some reason. I got kicked out. I have no idea why.
Very strange.
Let me just share the screen. Should be able to see that, right? Oh, did I leak my API key? Fuck.
Um, I was
Ah.
I
Okay.
wasn't watching,
I
but
only saw the phone, so if it was on the blue chat app, then yes. Otherwise, no.
Okay. Whatever. I'll have to change that. I'll have to change it.
Yeah, better be safe.
Yeah. I think I'm just gonna have to change this anyway. But
probably a good call.
yeah.
I just do it out of paranoia every time I do a live demo.
Yeah, I think that's the right go. Why is what Minimax like? Why are you? I found it every single other time. Now here we go. Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Somebody give me a topic in chat.
Um, let's do systems architecture design. It's been on my brain lately.
Okay, something. Okay, so I want to improve in my understanding of something more specific about system architecture design. Do you just want something
Um,
general?
let's do horizontal scaling.
What's the
Still,
company that you want to get in, that you're looking to get in?
It's a AI coaching company.
That's
oh, is that very general
why
still?
is it getting is it not working?
Does not look like it.
Oh,
There we
no.
go.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so here's some things that it created. So you got like a lesson plan. You can like see here's a worked examples, guided practice, transfer and reflection. You can see like what it's trying to do. You can also check out here's what the session looks like. How many tokens that it's used, topic mixes. You can see like daily usage for 2026 as you can see, right? There are some like there's some like UI bugs that I gotta fix, but other than that, I think this is workable and readable.
Yeah.
You can fork sessions. But yeah, so let's just see what it did. Um, so these are like some core facts that it wants to get you to start doing right, and it's gonna go through these different things until you get past it. So I don't know. Yeah, so I need to understand where you're starting from. Here's my opening diagnostic. Imagine you're an AI company, starts with 100 students tomorrow. You get a mention on a popular podcast, and suddenly 10,000 students want to use it at the same time. What do you think breaks first and why? Take your time. There's no wrong answers here. I want to hear your gut instinct, even if you're not sure. Guess. That's how we find your starting point. So, we can go further with this. Like, we can see how far we go with this. I'm not sure how much time we have. But like, I don't know. Post your reply like in chat. For what you want to see.
Yeah.
And this is Minimax M 2.7, by the way, guys. This is not this is not state of the art right now at all. It's like probably 9 months past their state of the art, I would say. It's definitely the best model for Minimax, but it's certainly not state of the art right now. Let's see what other people have said in chat. No, nothing? Did it?
I'm
No
typing.
message?
I'm typing.
Okay, you're typing. All right.
Yes.
While that's going on, you can also share chats. That might be a cool thing to try out, actually. Yeah, here we go. I'll share this in chat for anybody. The shared session, so you can try checking it out. Let's see this. Let's copy this and try it out. You can also decide to get rid of the reasoning trace in the settings so that you don't have to see it. I know that some people don't like to see tool calls and they don't like to see the reasoning traces. I have them on by default. I'm considering having them off by default, but I have them on by default to one, show you that the model is doing things. Also, um, it helps with debugging or like figuring out what's going on. What exactly? How is it reasoning about things? Like, what is? Does this make sense, etc. Um, Anyway, yeah, that's a really strong instinct. You've already identified multiple pressure points: auto scaling, config, hosting infrastructure, database load, and LLM products. Most beginners only think about the server. You're thinking in systems. Let me build on that. I want to test your mental model with a follow-up question. Why do you think the database specifically should be the first train from 10,000 simultaneous signups rather than, say, the application code or the LLM inference? Let's just compare. Let's compare this. I want to see if you guys like want to compare this to ChatGPT and just see like what we get in ChatGPT. This is my personal ChatGPT. So I have my own system prompt in here that's going to change things, of course. But let's see what I get. Actually, let's go on let's maybe do like a something I want to pair in chat history. Let's try that. This is state of the art, by the way. Right. This is just there's a lot of text. In my opinion, this is actually terrible. Like I wouldn't want this is really overwhelming. Um and it's just too much all at once. And it's not testing my understanding turn by turn at all. Uh like it's still going. It's still going, you know what I mean? So I would say like this is too much listicle stuff. Instead I think the approach that you get here is like way better. I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys would agree, but I definitely think that the approach in Keating is a lot better, and we're using a model that's not is like is so much cheaper than ChatGPT, and also like it kind of is much better in quality. Like this response is just a lot nicer, more understandable. It didn't send me like pages of a listicle here. Instead, all the artifacts are like produced over here. We can try this in Claude. Like we can see, does Claude do this better? Um, let's see. Let's try with Opus 4.8. Let's see. Does Opus 4.8 like make heating irrelevant? Let's see if it does. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
I
This
don't,
is
yeah,
this is a lot.
I like Keating better, but I think Opus's answer is much better than ChatGPT's.
Yes, Opus's answer is far better than ChatGPT. But like this is a lot, right? I have noticed that some models do reply like a ton, even in Keating, and I wanna fix that. Also, like these errors, like I don't know why that occurred. I think that there's some like API error, but like you can try sending a dot if this causes problems. There's obviously still some bugs with Keating that I need to figure out. Um, but other than that, like I like this response a lot better. I like the follow up better. I like how my artifacts are in here, like all this stuff that I don't really need to see. It's in a different place. And I also like how I can go and check out all the stuff that I've been learning over here. You just can't do that here. There's no way to get an overview of everything that you've learned. So yeah, and if you have like the chat aspect, of course, you can do that there. If you've used OpenAI's chat, it kind of just reflects everything that you say. Um, a lot of the times, it just repeats what you've just said and then like phrases it differently, which is kind of frustrating to me. Not good enough for a teaching experience, in my opinion, either. You can send a bug report this way, by the way. It just opens up uh the GitHub for an issue. So yeah, I mean that's like that's how this works. That's Keating. Um, yeah, go use it, man. Use it and enjoy it. Tell me if there's like stuff that you're expecting to see or better responses and things that you'd expect, etc. All right. I think it's all. I don't think there's too much else that I'm gonna be doing.
Perfect timing too.
Nice.
Sweet. Well, thank you very much for stopping by, Mr. Dio. I'm probably gonna play with Keating. I'm getting the feeling where I'm probably gonna bounce back and forth between Opus and Notebook LM and Keating, and I feel like kind of getting one to flesh out where the other is maybe is lackluster in some way, then I think could be a nice little round. So thank you for showing that. That's super cool.
Yeah, you can use Opus and Keating. So I mean,
That's
it's
the
not
hunch I
limited.
was getting. Yeah, that's the hunch I was
Yeah,
getting when I was watching you do it.
you can if you just select Opus as one of the models, you can go and use it. So it's not
Oh, true.
yeah, it's you can use ChatGPT and Keating too. I just decided to use Minimax because it's I'm demonstrating not only did I use a cheap free model, like one of the most efficient free models that you can use that's pretty far from the frontier and get a better result than you would with
Yeah,
a
totally.
frontier model. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you very much for your presentation. If anybody wants to sign up, just ping that AI in action bot and ask it to sign up for next week. I don't know if we have anybody um, already scheduled, but the bot will let you know otherwise. But in any case, thank you for coming by, and we will see y'all next week. Later.
Bye.